Imagine this. You are a wolf mother. You have just lost your mate. You have lost your position as leader. You are pregnant. You have no territory. No pack. No protection. And right in front of you stands the Alps, a gigantic wall of stone. Ice, snow, and freezing wind so brutal that even looking at it makes you want to turn back. But turning back is not an option. Because if you stay, your unborn pups may never get the chance to open their eyes. So what do? Option 1. Stay and accept your fate. Option 2. Walk more than 1,000 kilometers through frozen mountains, deep forests, enemy territories, sheep guarded by dogs, stalking lynx, and humans who are not exactly fans of wolves. Sounds like a survival video game set to nightmare mode, right? But this is not a game. This is the real life of a wolf mother in the Alps. And today's story will show us one harsh truth. In nature, the biggest animal does not always win. The sharpest teeth do not always guarantee survival. And sometimes, the strongest creature is not the one that survives the longest. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are heading to the Alps, a place that looks like a perfect desktop wallpaper. But for wild animals, it is more like a 24/7 survival gym with no heating, no buffet, and absolutely no customer support. Here, winter can last for months. Snow covers food. Freezing wind slaps every living creature in the face like nature is saying, "Good luck, little buddy." High up, the air is thin. Down below, predators are waiting. And in between, hundreds of animal species must find a way to survive. Some choose to live in groups. Some sleep through the winter. Some cooperate. Some deceive. Some endure in silence. And one wolf mother chooses to leave everything behind and start again from zero. This story is not only about wolves. It is about an entire mountain kingdom, where every creature must answer one question. If you want to survive in one of the harshest places on Earth, will you fight alone, or will you learn to rely on others? From far away, the Alps look poetic. White mountains, drifting clouds, pine forests, blue lakes, the kind of scenery that makes tourists pull out their phones and say, "This is so healing." But for the animals that live there, the Alps are not healing. They are more like a strict examiner testing every creature. Can you run fast? Can you survive the cold? Can you find food? Can you avoid eagles? Can you give birth at the right time? No? Then you fail. In this mountain world, hunger is just as dangerous as cold. When snow falls, grass disappears, insects hide, seeds and berries become rare. Many animals must slow down their bodies, reduce movement, and save every bit of energy. For humans, skipping one meal can already make us angry. For wild animals, going hungry for several days can mean the difference between life and death. And in this world, wolves are among the most impressive hunters. But do not think that being a wolf means life is easy. Wolves do not always catch prey. Some days they run, stalk, surround, calculate, chase, and still end up with nothing. A wolf pack can be strong. But a lone wolf is a different story. Especially when that lone wolf is a pregnant mother. In a wolf pack, order matters. You do not eat first just because you feel like it. You do not breed just because spring feels romantic. You do not become the leader by growling a few times and acting dramatic. A wolf pack has rules. Usually, only the leading pair has the right to reproduce. This helps the pack avoid raising too many pups at once. Because raising wolf pups is no joke. They need food, protection, babysitters, teachers, hunters. Honestly, raising wolf pups may be more stressful than running a startup during a funding crisis. The wolf mother in this story once had everything: a mate, a position, a family, and a territory. But nature does not offer lifetime happiness insurance. A tragedy happens. Her mate is gone. The pack changes. A younger female takes the leading position. And the wolf mother is forced to face a painful decision. If she returns, she may have to confront her own daughter, the new leading female. If she stays, the pups inside her may become a threat to the new order. And in the wild, when you become a problem, nature does not call a family meeting to solve things politely. It acts coldly. So the wolf mother leaves. Not because she is weak. Not because she is a coward. But because sometimes, leaving is the only way to protect lives that have not even begun yet. The wolf mother begins her journey. No map. No GPS. No rest stop in 2 kilometers. Only instinct, legs, and a belly growing heavier every day. She must cross freezing slopes, move through forests, avoid rival wolf territories, find water, find food, stay away from humans, stay away from dogs, and avoid predators that may one day target her pups. Every day, her body grows weaker. But she keeps moving. Because when you are a mother in the wild, the idea of saying, "I am too tired, I quit," almost does not exist. Tired? Keep walking. Hungry? Keep searching. Scared? Keep moving. And this is what makes wolves so extraordinary. They do not survive only with teeth and claws. They survive through endurance, movement, intelligence, and family. A wolf can travel distances that would make many animals look at the map and immediately resign from life. But as the wolf mother moves across the frozen mountains, she does not know that another pair of eyes is watching from above. A huge shadow circles in the sky. The bearded vulture. If the wolf is a hunter on the ground, the bearded vulture is the cleanup specialist of the sky. But do not mistake it for an ordinary vulture waiting for leftover meat. No. This bird has very unusual taste. While other animals fight over meat, skin, and organs, the bearded vulture looks at bones and thinks, "Yes, dinner." That is right. It eats bones. Not just chewing them for fun. It actually survives on them. It can carry bones high into the air, drop them onto rocks to break them open, then calmly eat the pieces like mountain snacks. Sounds a little creepy, but it is actually brilliant. In nature, everyone fights for meat, but bones? Not many animals want them. So the bearded vulture found a niche with very little competition. If this bird taught a business class, the first lesson would probably be, find an unpopular market and dominate it. The vulture does not necessarily harm the wolf mother, but it follows signs of hunts, carcasses, death, and leftovers. In the Alps, nothing is truly wasted. A wolf's hunt can feed ravens. A skeleton can feed vultures. A bear's droppings can spread berry seeds. A bird that forgets where it hid food can create an entire forest. Nature may look chaotic, but underneath, everything is connected like one giant living network. While the wolf mother fights her own battle. In another corner of the forest, small birds face their own drama. Winter arrives. Food becomes scarce. A small bird searching alone can easily starve, freeze, or get caught by a predator. So what is the solution? Form a team. Not a meeting team. Not a KPI team. A real survival team. Each bird species has its own skill. Some are good at finding seeds. Some are good at pulling insects from bark. Some are alert guards. Some are fast and flexible. Together, they turn one ordinary tree into a mini supermarket divided by levels. One species watches from the top. Another searches for seeds in the middle. Another checks moss and bark below. Others pick up whatever remains near the bottom. It may look messy, but it is actually organized. They do not need a leadership meeting. They do not need a motivational slogan. They simply understand one thing. Alone, you may move faster. Together, you are less likely to starve. And in the Alps, being less likely to starve is already a major achievement. If small birds survive through teamwork, ibex survive through climbing skills that almost look impossible. A young ibex, only recently born, must quickly learn the most important lesson of its life. How to stand on rock. No soft playground. No rubber safety floor. No mother standing below saying, "Jump, baby, I'll catch you." In the high mountains, one wrong step can cost everything. But ibex are born for places that make humans dizzy just by looking down. Their hooves grip stone with incredible precision, allowing them to move across slopes that look almost vertical. And the young ibex's mother does not teach with a 30-minute lecture. She teaches by walking first. The baby watches. The mother steps onto the rock. The baby follows. Afraid, but still moving. Shaking, but still climbing. At one point, the little one realizes it is standing on a nearly vertical wall. If it were human, this would probably be the moment it screamed, "Mom, are we sure this is the right way?" But for ibex, this is school. There are minerals on the rocks. There are lessons in balance. There are skills that may save its life in the future. Nature does not teach young animals with theory. Nature teaches through reality. And sometimes, the first exam in life happens right on the edge of a cliff. The story of the Alps is not only about animals. Beneath the forest floor, there is a slower, quieter, but equally amazing world. The world of trees. An old stump that should have died long ago is still alive. It has no leaves. It cannot make its own energy from sunlight. It no longer looks like a great ancient tree. At first glance, we might think, well, this old guy is finished. But no. The trees around it continue feeding it through their roots. Some are its descendants. Some are distant relatives. Some are not even the same species. Yet together, they form an underground support network that keeps the old stump alive. It sounds like a fairy tale, but it reveals one of the most beautiful lessons of the forest. A single tree can grow tall, but a forest standing together can resist wind, hold water, protect soil, feed insects, shelter animals, and survive for centuries. In harsh places, kindness is not always emotion. Sometimes, it is a survival strategy. And honestly, if trees can take care of each other without even having mouths, maybe humans could learn a thing or two from them. But nature is not always warm and beautiful. Where there is cooperation, there is also exploitation. And one of the greatest little scammers of the mountains is a beautiful butterfly. From the outside, it looks harmless. Thin wings, elegant colors, soft flight. The kind of creature that makes people say, "Ah, so cute." But life is not always like a profile picture. When it is still a caterpillar, it has a brilliant trick. It mimics the smell of ant larvae. A worker ant passes by, smells something familiar, and thinks this must be one of its own young. So the ant carries the imposter back to the nest. From that moment, the caterpillar is fed, protected, and raised through winter. In simple terms, it hacks the ant childcare system. The ants believe they are caring for their own family. In reality, they are raising an uninvited guest. When spring arrives and the caterpillar becomes a butterfly, the disguise disappears. Now it has only seconds to escape. Because once the ants discover the truth, there is no such thing as first warning. So what is the lesson here? In nature, not everyone survives by strength. Some survive through cooperation, some through speed, some through patience, and some through acting skills worthy of an Oscar. One of the most fascinating relationships in the Alps is between the nutcracker bird and the high mountain pine tree. The tree has seeds. The bird loves seeds. At first, it sounds simple. The bird eats the seeds. The tree loses them. But not exactly. The nutcracker is a master of storage. It collects seeds and hides them in many places for winter. The problem is that it hides so many seeds that it cannot remember them all. And the forgotten seeds begin to grow into new trees. So the pine tree uses the bird to spread its seeds. The bird gets food. The tree gets a future. Both sides benefit, even if one side is a little forgetful. If the nutcracker were human, its room would probably be full of random things. And every day it would ask, "Where did I put my keys?" But in nature, its forgetfulness becomes a gift to the forest. That is the beauty of the natural world. One small action by one species can create a future for another. When the wolf mother is hungry, she needs meat. And in mountain regions where humans live, sheep become a very tempting target. To the wolf, sheep are easy prey. To the shepherd, sheep are livelihood, labor, and survival. And that is where conflict begins. This is an old story. Wolves and humans do not easily coexist. But not everyone chooses to destroy wolves. Some people choose another path, protecting livestock with guardian dogs, presence, knowledge, and an understanding of wolf behavior. A shepherd and his dogs enter one of the most dangerous mountain pastures. The sheep need grass. The wolves need food. The dogs need to protect. And the human stands in the middle, trying to prevent the situation from turning into tragedy. These guardian dogs are not pets lying on a sofa eating snacks. They are real working defenders. One dog gathers the flock. Another watches from high ground. Another patrols the outer edge. Another stays among the sheep like a silent bodyguard. When wolves approach, the dogs do not always need to attack. Sometimes, smell, barking, posture, and confidence are enough. The message is clear. This flock is protected, do not come closer. And often, that is enough. Wolves do not like unnecessary risk. They want food, not a hospital visit in the wilderness. This is an important lesson. Living with nature does not mean hugging a wolf and calling it a good boy. It means understanding boundaries, reducing conflict, protecting human livelihood, and still giving wild animals a chance to exist. After a long journey, the wolf mother finally finds a place that is somewhat safe. Not a palace. Not an ancestral den. Just a dry, hidden spot near water, with a good view of the surroundings. For a lone wolf mother, that is already a luxury. Night falls. Her pups are born. But in nature, joy is rarely complete. Some of the pups are too weak and do not survive. The mother must remove all traces so predators are not attracted to the den. It sounds cruel, but this is the wild. Here, the smell of blood, milk, newborns, and death can become an invitation to danger. And danger truly arrives. A lynx. A silent predator, patient, almost invisible among the trees and rocks. It can wait for hours. All it needs is for the wolf mother to leave the den to search for food. But the wolf mother is starving too. She needs food to produce milk. The larger her pups grow, the more they need. And she is completely alone. This is the most heartbreaking part of the story. A mother cannot hunt and guard her pups at the same time. No pack to help. No sisters to babysit. No one to bring food. No one to stand watch. Only her. An empty stomach. And 6 tiny lives licking her mouth, begging for food she does not have. Wolves are family animals. A wolf can travel alone for a very long distance. But to raise pups, defend territory, and hunt effectively, wolves need a pack. The wolf mother knows this. As her pups grow, they need more food. Winter is coming again. She cannot carry everything alone forever. So one cold night, in an unfamiliar valley, she howls. A wolf's howl is not just a scary sound from horror movies. It is a message. An acoustic map. A way of saying, I am here. I am alive. I need my own kind. This could be the beginning of a new pack. On the first night, no one answers. The mountains remain silent. For humans, being left on read is already painful. For the wolf mother, no reply could mean that the coming winter will be brutal. But somewhere in a distant valley, a young wolf hears her call. He, too, is looking for a chance. A territory. A family. A reason to stop wandering. When the two wolves meet in the early morning, it is not a romantic scene with piano music in the background. It is survival. A new pack may begin. The wolf mother has been through almost everything. She lost her mate, lost her pack, left her homeland, crossed mountains, gave birth alone, avoided lynx, avoided humans, faced hunger, called into the night without knowing if anyone would answer. And finally, she gets what she needs. A new beginning. Not a grand beginning with fireworks. A quiet beginning, the kind nature gives. A new territory. A new companion. Surviving pups. And the chance to build a new wolf. From an outcast, she becomes a founder. And this is where the story of one wolf mother becomes something much bigger. Wolves once disappeared from many parts of Europe's mountains. They were hunted, feared, misunderstood, and treated as enemies. But then, one by one, lone wolves began leaving the few places where they had survived. They crossed mountains, roads, villages, rivers, and returned to ancient lands their ancestors had lost. Not as an army, not with roaring power, but through quiet, determined footsteps. One wolf goes first, then another, then a new pack. Then, slowly, the mountains hear the howls again. The wolf mother did not only save her pups. She became one small part of the return of the wild. After all these stories, we realize that the Alps are not just a test. They are a giant classroom. Small birds teach us that cooperation helps defeat hunger. Ibex mothers teach us that survival skills must be learned early. The bearded vulture teaches us that even leftovers have value. Ancient trees teach us that family can continue underground, through roots. The nutcracker teaches us that a little forgetfulness can plant a forest. Guardian dogs teach us that humans can protect without destroying. And the wolf mother teaches us that losing everything does not mean the story is over. In nature, competition is real. Predators are real. Death is real. Nothing here is soft or perfect. But if we see nature only as a war where the strong eat the weak, we miss half the story. Because the higher you go, the colder it becomes. The less food there is, the harsher the world gets. And the more important cooperation becomes. In easy places, the strong can show off their muscles. In harsh places, the smart save energy. But in places where survival seems almost impossible, those who rely on one another have the best chance to continue. So, did the wolf mother win? If winning means never losing anything, then no. She lost a lot. But if winning means continuing after life pushes you out of everything familiar, if it means protecting your pups, finding a new land, howling into the cold night, and finally hearing an answer, then yes, she won. Not through the strength of a terrifying predator, but through the instinct of a mother, the endurance of an exile, and the will to build a family again from nothing. The Alps are still there. Cold, high, beautiful, and merciless. But even in that cold, life still finds a way. A flock of small birds gathers on a branch. A young ibex trembles on a cliff. A forgotten pine seed quietly grows roots. A bearded vulture circles the sky. A shepherd stands between dogs, sheep, and snow. And somewhere in a valley, a wolf mother calls her pups. If you enjoyed this story, leave a comment below. In nature, what do you think matters more, strength or cooperation? Do not forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to discover more strange, emotional, and fascinating animal stories. And remember this: in the harshest places on Earth, no one truly survives alone.